Hi, and welcome back. In the previous lesson, we covered the HTML document structure and the elements in the head tag. In today's lesson, we will continue with the body tag and its elements. And the goal is to learn how to present and emphasize textual content. Today, we are going to cover 4 topics. The first one will be types of HTML elements. The second one will be HTML headings. The third one will be basic text elements. And the fourth one, which is the last one, will be text formatting tags in HTML. So, by the end of this lesson, you will be able to differentiate between elements based on how they behave, either having close tag or self-closing, and what they mean semantically. Also, use HTML headings appropriately, I mean H1 tag to H6 tags, and be able to add and structure paragraphs, line breaks, and horizontal rules. Also, use semantic text elements for emphasis and meaning, and also format text with inline HTML tags. And the last one, understand when to use semantic and presentational tags. So, if you have not watched the previous videos in the playlist, please, I will encourage you to do so, since each lesson is built on the previous one, and it will help you understand where we are coming from and where we are going. Thanks for your understanding. And if you are ready, let's kickstart. Now, let's get into the types of HTML elements. HTML elements come in different types based on 1. Tag structure, that is the normal tags versus the self-closing ones. 2. How they behave in layout, whether block or inline. And 3. What they mean, that is semantic versus non-semantic. So let's take them one after the other to understand it better. Now, 1. Based on tag structure. This is in 2 phases. The first one is normal or container elements. These elements have both opening and closing tags, and they can contain other content inside them. So with the opening tag, it consists of a less than and a greater than sign. And the closing tag also consists of a less than with a slash and greater than coming at the last. So what are some of the examples of these elements? The P tag, which can contain text, and the div tag, which is a container and can contain other elements, and also strong tag, which can also contain bold text. So now the second phase is self-closing or void elements. These elements do not have closing tags as the normal one or the container element does. And also they are standalone. They don't wrap any content. Also, they often include attributes. So example is the image tag. The image tag has an attribute of source and also alt. Likewise, the input tag, it also can have attribute of type and also placeholder and others. Let's go to the second one, which is element based on their display behavior. And this one is also in 3 phases. The first one is block level elements. These elements take up the full width of their container, and they also start on a new line. Can also contain other block or inline elements. So examples of these ones are the div tag, the paragraph tag, the H1 to H6 tags, the section, the article tags, and so on. So these tags stays on the line alone. They don't share their line with anyone. They take the full width. And the second phase is the inline elements. The inline elements take up only as much width as needed, and they do not start on a new line as the block level element does, and they can only contain text or other inline elements. And examples are the span, the A tag, the strong, the EM tag, the image tag, and so on. So these elements, they just take the width they need. They don't expand the whole width, and they can also stay on the line with others. So the third phase is the inline block. With the inline block, element behaves like inline in flow, but allows width or height like block. And they are often used in CSS styling. So as we go on, we will get to the point that we will be experiencing this, like the inline block. So normally we use the CSS to style element to also have width and height as we specify. Now, the third type of HTML element is also based on meaning and has 2 phases. The first one is semantic elements. These elements clearly describe their meaning in human and machine readable ways, and they are great for SEO, which is search engine optimizer, and also accessibility. Examples are the header tag, the footer, the article, the section, the main, and so on. And the second phase is the non-semantic elements. These elements have no inherent meaning, and they are also used primarily for layout and styling. An example I can give is the div, span, and others. So get this tip. You should always use semantic elements whenever possible to make your HTML more readable and meaningful. So with that said, let's move straight to the second thing we need to talk about, which is the HTML headings. So first of all, let's create a new file inside the HTML folder. And since we are dealing with text, we can name it text.html. And now, we don't also need to go through the stress of creating the boilerplate or the structure like we did in the index HTML. We can either copy and paste, or we can use the shortcut to create the boilerplate. And using the shortcut, we need to press and hold the shift key, and also you search or you look for where the exclamation sign is on your keys and press that one too. Right after that, you just press enter key and it will create the boilerplate for you. And we can go back now and then copy what is missing in the head tag. We can copy all the elements in the head tag and then paste all here. And after that, we can change the title to be let's say HTML headings and text formatting lesson. And now let's go inside our body and then start with our skeleton structure. So today we are going to look at three things. The first one we are going to look at is the HTML headings. And the second one we will look at is the basic text elements. And the last one is text formatting tags in HTML. Headings structure your content and help users and search engines understand what is important. And in HTML, we have 6 levels of headings, and we are going to take a look at all the 6 levels. So now quickly, in our body tag, the first level is the H1 tag, and that is the main heading, so the biggest one among the 6. And from here we have the next one, which is this H2. So where our cursor is at the end of the H1 tag, we can press and hold Shift and press and hold Alt key and then press our down arrow key, 1 2 3 4 5, and we have the extra 5, and we can now rename them 2 and 3 4 5 and the last one 6. Yeah, so these are some of the shortcuts that we will be looking at as we go on. So now we have our 6 levels. So let's go to our browser and look at how it looks like. Okay, so here we still have the index.html, but now we are working with text.html. So you just need to change the index to text or any other name that you are using and then press enter. Yeah, so now we have our main heading. Oh, it's better I rename these ones. So I will do this one, the second one, as sub heading, and this one I will click or highlight this and then Control D to select the rest, and I can give it level, yeah, and here I can do level 3 heading, level 4 heading, level 5 heading, and the last one level 6, which is the smallest. Okay, let me do the smallest, yeah, smallest heading, and then save it. So now we have the main heading, which is the biggest, and the next one is the subheading, and the next is the level 3 heading, the level 4, level 5, and then the smallest heading. So when working with HTML and you are working with headings, these are the headings we have or we use in HTML. And let me tell you or show you some of the best practices when working with headings in HTML. You should use only one H1 tag per page, usually for the main title. So like for instance here, we can use the H1 for the main title of this particular page, for this particular page. And if we want to give any sub heading, then we go for the H2. If we need another subheading, we go for the level 3. If we need another one, we go for the level 4 till the last one. Why? We should always try to maintain logical hierarchy when working with HTML headings. We shouldn't skip levels, like jumping from H1 to H4. It is not really the best. So always try to maintain logical hierarchy when working with HTML headings, because headings help with SEO, that is the search engine optimizer, and also accessibility. So this is the more reason why when working with headings you should maintain the logical hierarchy. That is it for the HTML headings. Now we move on to the next one, which is the basic text elements. So under the basic text elements, we are going to look at the paragraph tag, that is the P tag, and we will also look at the BR tag, and we look at the HR tag. These are the three things we are going to look at under the basic text elements. So now let's go down and add the P tag, and inside it we have to type and then save it and go check on our browser. So we have it here. This is a paragraph of text. So now paragraph or the P tag keep our content readable. So the next one we are going to look at is the BR. Now we are done with the P tag. Let's check the BR tag. The BR tag creates a new line inside our text, like pressing your enter key to move to the next line when typing. So this is how the BR tag behaves. So let me clear this and then put rather a paragraph. And save it. So first of all, when I save it, we can see they are all on the same line. So the moment I bring the BR tag here, let's see what happens. Let's save it. You see now it quickly moves the second sentence to the next line, separating it from the first sentence. So this is how the BR tag behaves. Let's move on to the next one, which is the HR tag. And what does the HR tag does? The HR tag draw a horizontal line useful to separate sections. So when working on HTML pages, a page might consist of different sections, and the HR tag is for drawing lines to separate these sections. So when I save it now, we can see how the horizontal line is drawn nicely here. So any other section I want to add, I can now go under the HR tag and then add it here. So for instance, let's copy or put this HR after our smallest heading, assuming the headings are our first section and the basic text element being our next or the second section. So HR, and then save it. So now you can see it separates the sections. Now we have the heading section and we have the basic text element section. So this is how the P tag, the BR tag, and the HR tag also behaves on the page. or the HTML page. The next on the list is text formatting tags in HTML. These tags help you control how your text looks and what it means. They are often used inside paragraphs, headings, or lists. So the first one we will also talk about here under text formatting tags will be bold text. That will be the first one. So under bold text, we have two options to make text bold. The first option is the B tag. And the second option is the strong tag. So let me comment it here and say first option, and copy it from here and paste it here and say this is the second option. With the first option, the B tag just makes text bold without any semantic meaning. It just gives style, a bold style to the text. So if I say okay, let me say bold text without meaning, and save it. So we can see this text is in bold, but it has no meaning. And let me copy this and paste it here in a strong and say bold text with meaning. Okay, so now let's wrap each of them in a P tag. So I will highlight all and press Ctrl Shift hold and then P. And then now with this emmet wrap with abbreviation, I just enter and then I want P tag, and then I enter and boom, I have my P. So now you could see it separate it. I will also be talking about the reason why both were on the same line. In the course of this lesson, I will be talking about why the B tag and the strong tag did not separate themselves on each different lines, but they were staying on the same line. I will talk about that in the course of this lesson. So let's wrap the strong to with another paragraph and save it, but they are still the same. The next one we will look at is italic text, how to make text italic. So that one too, we will also consider it as a different session. So we separate it with the HR tag here. And with the italic text, it also has two options. The first option is the I tag, and the second option is the EM tag. The I tag also makes text italic without any meaning. It has no meaning, it just gives style to the text. On the other hand, the EM makes the text italic and also tells the browser this word is emphasized. Okay, so let's take a look at the examples. So I wrap this one again in a paragraph, and I wrap this one too in a paragraph. And then here I just put in let me copy this text, wrap this also in paragraph, and then put the text inside and say this is italic text with style and meaning. So let's take a look. You can see the first one, this is italic text with just style and no meaning. And the second one is this is italic text with style and meaning, but they are all looking the same. So when the browser reads the page, the browser will understand that one is emphasized and the other is not. So the next thing we will look at under text formatting tags in HTML is the marked or highlighted text, and the tag used for this is the mark tag. The mark tag like this, mark. With this mark tag, it highlights text in yellow by default. So let's take a look at that one. Let's wrap this. Oh, first of all, let's separate it by the HR tag, and then have that one on a different line, like a section. So we wrap this in a paragraph like we did previously, and then here I will type so now we can see it from our browser that it has highlighted the text in yellow. So remember to submit your project by tomorrow. Submit your project by tomorrow has been highlighted. So this is what we use to highlight text in HTML. And the next one we are going to look at is code snippets. And that one we use the code tag. Let me separate that one too with the HR and then give the code. The code. And this one displays programming code, uses monospace font like in editors. So for instance, if I also wrap this in paragraph and then write so now we can see on our browser that the img has been wrapped with code. So when you are working with HTML and you need to add anything like code snippets, you just need to wrap it inside this code tags and you will get it done. The next on the line, we will look at subscript and superscript. Let's go to the next line normally with the HR. And the tags that we are using here, we have the first one. Let me comment and do subscript, and then move to the next and do superscript. So under the subscript, we are going to use the sub tag, and under the superscript we are going to use the sub. The subscript makes text small below the line, and with the superscript makes text small above the line. So let's look at the first example. Let's wrap this in a paragraph and then say so now with the subscript, we can see from here in our browser that the 2 which is wrapped in the sub tag is below the line. You can see all the other text are on the line, but the 2 is below the line. So this is how subscript behave in HTML document. And let's look at the subscript, which also stays above the line. So let's wrap that one too in a paragraph. And then here I say 2 raised to the power 4 is equal to 16 and save it. So now we can see here that we have 2 and the 4 is above the line because the 2 is on the line and the 4 is above the line. So 2 raised to the power 4 is 16. So this is how the subscript also behaves on HTML page. With that said, let's move on to the next formatting tag, which is the quotes. The quotes. So that one too, we need to separate it as a new section. And we use the tag kill. Okay, let me comment it out and write quotes. Let's wrap it in our p tag and we say so now we can see from here he said practice makes perfect. So we have our practice makes perfect in quotation marks, as we can see at the top here. And under the quotes we have another option too. So the first one that we used is the short quotes. Let me add that one here, or let me do this one, the short quotes. That is the first option. And let me add the block quotes. And the block quotes is for long quotes and it indents the text. We will take a look at how it also behaves. So let's add a paragraph, and inside the paragraph let's add the block quotes. So as you can see, it is not behaving as a normal paragraph like we saw here in the others. So this is how the block quote also behaves on HTML page. So now if you look at our browser, you can see how the skeleton looks like. This is raw element that we have put in all together. So you can see our heading elements. You can see the paragraph and how we added the break, the BR tag to break this line. And also you can see our HR tag, which gives each section a different line to separate it from the other. And also you can see from here where the B tag and the strong tag looks the same, identical, but has different meanings. Also, likewise, the italic and also the EM. They are identical, but then they all have different meanings, and browsers can read and understand. And also here we also spoke about the mark tag, which highlights the text, and we also spoke about the code snippets, how to add code snippet in your text or on your web page. And we also spoke about the subscripts and the superscripts. And the last part we spoke about is the quotes, the short quotes and also the block quotes. So I would like to end this lesson also here, and in our next lesson I will cover links and navigations with you. Thanks so much for watching, and if you found this helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing. It really helps me grow this channel. I would also like to hear your thoughts or questions in the comments, and feel free to share this with anyone who might find it useful. See you in the next video.